care. I was a war dog for training. And I think if you ask Yves to this day who his best training partner was at least at one of the times when he achieved maybe his most notable success as top flight 155 pounder in the world, man, I gave him my all, bro. I would take hard punishment from Yves, and I would give it back too. But I would be there for it, and I would let him experiment on me, and then give him, giving him it back a little bit to keep him on his toes. And I just think that at that point, I couldn't say no to fights. I was training with the way I looked at it, right, Chris? I was training with the best 155 pounder in the world, like 100 best lightweight fighter in the world. At that time, it was 170, 155.
What was the name of that little boxing trainer that used to come with Yves? Like his corner?
Lewis Wood.
Yeah,
Lewis Wood.
Very, very much. Yeah. He reminds me. I watched Rose Namajunas this past weekend. Obviously, we all did, right? And she had Greg Nelson in her corner, and Lewis Wood reminds me of that kind of
Greg
man.
Nelson. Yeah, Greg Nelson.
Yeah, it was
Greg Nelson,
but
right?
Lewis Wood and Greg Nelson, one's a boxer, one's a grappler, but they're cut from the same cloth. They're just guys that their fighters react to them in an incredible way. And Lewis Wood, I worried about making sure he was, happy. Not happy, but that things were on the up and up, because if not, he would call me on my shit. That's Lewis Wood. He's a good man. You know what I mean?
For sure,
old school boxing
He's a firefighter.
Yeah.
A Houston firefighter for
good
many years.
Yeah,
All right,
but from like you were saying though, back then, I mean, I remember I was fighting UFC, and for some odd reason, the UFC, they weren't giving the 55 pounders love, to be honest with you. And remember one point they were like, well, we don't have a 55-pound title, but if we did, they said, yeah, Yves would be our guy, because I mean he was wrecking people, man.
It was that last fight, man. We had a great camp for him, man. Against Josh Thomson. Oh my God, we had a great killer camp for him, man.
Yeah.
We did a lot of rounds for that. Like, it was a really good sparring, really good preparation for that, man. Yeah, you were on that card, I think, man. I think you got like fight of the night or something.
I remember that knockout. I was like, damn, I ain't beating that one. That was a good one. He called right before me. I was like, damn, because he turned as he spun around to throw that back fist. He kicked him. I was like, oh, that was about as sweet as it gets, man. That was a beautiful knockout.
Here's the thing, man. Like, people don't understand, at that time, look at all the intricacies of that. Like, that's modern MMA to a T. They're fighting hands. Thompson was really well fighting hands. Yves, had that off that scramble, a little luck to be on the back, had a nice little lazy gable grip there. Thompson fights hands, runs away from him like he should.
Yep.
And Yves just like, whoop, fucking Pokemon goes in,
Thompson did everything
throws
right.
some crazy anime shit.
Shin to the face, man. What are you gonna do?
Like 99% of the other fighters, like even at the highest levels, would have backed up, kind of reset, and then recommitted. But like, there's only like 2 real instances where you see like an opponent do something crazy, and like Yves like committed to it because he knew what was coming, and it was like a split second. But like when Mike Brown fought Uriah Faber in the first one, when Uriah came off the cage with the spinning elbow, 99% of the other people would have just kind of backed up, reset, and then restarted again. But, Mike Brown and Yves Edwards committed to it, and they had no fear. They committed to the exchange. It's beautiful.
Yep.
I mean, that's knowing what's coming and beating it to the punch,
Yeah.
Also, that's exactly, because you're right. You bring that up. He still back fisted him, and it didn't even catch. So he had that awareness. I just remember at that time, Yves had he had a really, really good high kick, man. And I was I was coming from Thailand, and I had pro Thai fights, and I was fighting still Muay Thai and kickboxing matches in the southeast portion of Texas, and in Louisiana, Mississippi, some of those areas still. I was taking any fight that I could at the time. So I was trying to keep him sharp in kickboxing. And then he had some other guys he'd bring in. Lee King was also a guy he'd use a lot, good Thai boxer, kickboxer. And so Yves, he he already had his quality, technical quality as a kickboxer as it is, but at that time he was getting a lot of looks from like, Lee King's, Sancho, but he's also fought a lot of Thai too, but he's got that look. I had a more Thai look, but he's just getting a lot of looks from guys. And he's just throwing kicks, man. And he was, at that time, I think Yves also had knocked out somebody else in the UFC, Brazilian, I believe, on UFC televised card. And face planting him, he's that's one of Yves' main weapons. I would say for many years it was, at least, is mixing up his kicks into his exchanges, because he'd catch guys with their their hands just a little bit down and put that neck kick on right on point.